AI agent can click buttons, read files, send messages, update records, trigger workflows, and act inside a business. That is why companies are racing to build digital workers. But there is one uncomfortable detail. To be useful, agents need access. Access to documents, access to customer records, access to calendars, access to support tickets, access to internal systems. And once AI gets access, the story stops being about chatbots. It becomes a story about power, money, and control. Because the next phase of artificial intelligence may not be about who has the smartest model, it may be about who controls the keys. For years, the AI story was simple. You typed a prompt. The model gave you an answer. That was impressive, but it still left the human in the middle of every action. The human had to move the answer into another tool, check it, send it, update the system, and approve the next step. But the next business race is different. Companies do not just want AI that talks, they want AI that works. Microsoft's 2025 Work Trend Index describes a shift toward what it calls the frontier firm, organizations built around teams of humans and agents. In that report, most leaders surveyed expected agents to become part of their company's AI strategy within the next 12 to 18 months. That matters because it changes how companies think about labor. Not just human labor, digital labor. There is more work than people have time to do, more tickets than teams can answer, more data than managers can read, more processes than employees can manually coordinate. So companies are looking at agents as a new kind of capacity, not a person, not a normal app, something in between, a software worker inside a workflow. But workers need tools, and tools require permission. The word agent gets used so often now that it can sound like marketing. But the difference is important. A chatbot responds. A workflow follows a predefined path. An agent is designed to use tools, choose steps, and keep working toward a goal. Anthropic describes agents as systems where models dynamically direct their own process and tool use. AWS describes agents that connect foundation models to company systems, APIs, and data sources to automate multi-step tasks. In plain English, the model is no longer just producing text. It is being connected to the machinery of a company. That machinery can include APIs, databases, internal documents, ticketing systems, customer records, calendars, search tools, browsers, and other agents. OpenAI's operator preview showed a version of this idea in a consumer setting, an agent that could use a browser, click, type, scroll, and interact with websites. That does not mean agents can do anything they want. The important part is the direction of travel. AI is moving from answering inside a box to acting inside systems. And that is the moment where AI becomes much more valuable to companies. A model that only writes an answer is useful, but a model that can read the right file, update the right record, route the right ticket, and ask a human for approval at the right moment, that starts to look like infrastructure. This is why major enterprise software companies are racing to own the agent layer. Microsoft is building agents into Copilot Studio. Google is positioning Gemini Enterprise as an agentic platform connected to workplace apps. Salesforce is building Agentforce around CRM, service, sales, marketing, data, and Slack workflows. AWS describes Bedrock agents as a way to connect models with APIs, company systems, and data sources. Different companies, different products, same direction. The goal is to turn AI into something that can sit inside the operating system of a business, not just a search bar, not just a writing assistant, a layer that can observe work, retrieve information, make suggestions, trigger actions, and hand off tasks. This is why the competition is not only about model quality, it is about distribution. Who already has the customer data? Who owns the workplace tools? Who controls the CRM? Who controls the cloud? Who controls identity, security, permissions, and audit logs. The agent economy favors companies that already sit close to business workflows. Because if an agent needs access, the winner may be the company that already has the door. An agent that cannot access anything is just a chatbot with a job title. To actually work, it needs permission. Permission to read files, search customer history, update records, and route tickets. Permission to check calendars, draft responses, call APIs, and retrieve data from cloud systems. Every one of those permissions has value, and every one creates risk. This is the part of the AI agent story that is easy to miss. The agent is not valuable because it has a glowing interface. It is valuable because it can be connected to the places where work actually happens. Email is where decisions move. Documents are where knowledge lives. CRM is where customer relationships are tracked. Support systems are where problems arrive. Finance workflows are where money moves. Cloud systems are where infrastructure runs. When an AI agent gets access to those layers, it is not just helping with work. It is entering the permission structure of the company. And permission is power. That is why the most important word in the agent economy may not be intelligence. It may be access. This does not mean every agent is dangerous. It means the risk changes when AI can act. A chatbot can give a wrong answer. An agent with access can take a wrong action. That difference matters. Security groups such as OWASP categorize risks around LLM applications, including prompt injection, sensitive information exposure, and excessive agency. Prompt injection matters because an agent may be reading instructions from the outside world, a web page, an email, a document, a ticket, or a message. Sensitive information exposure matters because useful agents may need to read private business data, customer records, internal notes, financial context, or employee data. Excessive agency matters because an agent should not be able to do more than its job requires. If an agent is supposed to summarize tickets, it should not have broad access to financial systems. If an agent is supposed to draft a response, it should not send sensitive information without review. OpenAI's operator preview highlights safeguards around credentials, payments, confirmations, financial sites, and malicious websites. Anthropic recommends guardrails, sandboxing, testing, and human checkpoints for agentic systems. And capability is not the same as reliability. Stanford's 2026 AI Index says agent performance on OS World improved sharply, but agents still failed roughly 1 in 3 attempts on structured benchmarks. That is a huge improvement. But if an agent is acting inside a business, one wrong action can matter. So the question is not simply, can the agent do the task? The better question is, what should this agent be allowed to do without a human checkpoint? And whenever a new risk layer appears, a new business layer appears around it. If agents become digital workers, the money will not only go to the companies with the smartest models, it will go to the companies that make agents usable inside real businesses. Cloud providers, enterprise software companies, permission platforms, security tools, consultants, analytics systems, governance products. The agent itself may be the visible product, but the valuable layer may be the control system around the agent. Memory, data access, connectors, approvals, audit logs, identity, permission levels, human review. This is where the agent economy starts looking less like a chatbot trend and more like an enterprise software land grab. Because once agents become part of workflows, companies need a way to answer basic questions. What did the agent read? What did it change? Who approved the action? What system did it access? What data did it use? What should it be blocked from doing next time? That is not just AI. That is governance. And governance is a market. This is also why the future of work story is more complicated than AI replaces humans. The more interesting version is this. Office work gets reorganized around agents. Some tasks may disappear, some roles may shrink, some jobs may change faster than people expect. But new work also appears around the agent layer. Someone has to decide what agents are allowed to access. Someone has to review what they produce. Someone has to design the workflows. Someone has to monitor mistakes. Someone has to measure whether the agent actually improves the business. Someone has to decide where human judgment still belongs. In this version of the future, the worker is not always replaced by an agent. Sometimes the worker becomes the manager of several agents, the reviewer, the exception handler, the workflow designer, the person who knows when not to automate. That may sound less dramatic than AI takes every job, but it may be closer to how companies actually change. They automate the repetitive parts. They reorganize the expensive parts. They add software where there is friction. And they keep humans where judgment, trust, and accountability still matter. So the real question is not only whether agents arrive,
operating in perfect,
it is who controls the keys when they do.
This is the future
AI
of our
agents
global
are not
economy.
magic employees. They are access systems with intelligence attached. That is why the next phase of AI may be less about who has the smartest chatbot and more about who controls the permissions, workflows, data, and trust layer around digital workers. Companies want productivity. Platforms want the agent layer. Security teams want control. Workers want to know where they fit. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, a new market is forming. One where the most valuable product may not be an answer. It may be an action. But every action needs permission. And every permission creates a new question. Who gave this agent the keys? If you want more documentaries on the money, power, and risk behind artificial intelligence, subscribe to the Synthetic Ledger. Because the best way to understand the AI economy is still the same. Follow the money.